whilst a couple more people come in, and then I'll say a few words of introduction. Okay. So I think we might as well get started. Good evening, everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Simon Gamble. I'm director of the British Institute of Florence. It's my pleasure to welcome you this evening to this special event, or a virtual visit to 3 of the botteghe in the Oltrarno. This is an initiative, it's part of the Oltrarno Gaze project produced by Advancing Women Artists and Villa Il Palmerino. And this evening's session is curated by our friends at Creative People Florence, Anna Rose, say hi, and Sarah Ann Rhyme, say hi. Yeah. Hi. This is the start of in the British Institute's program. This is the start of our second sequence in our new Firenze in-house strand, building on the work we did before Christmas, looking at the future of Florence. And one of the things we were looking at in that was the role of contemporary creativity and culture as part of Florence going forward. So the second season of Firenze now is going to be a series of different kinds of interventi sessions, events, all looking at what's going on around contemporary creativity in Florence. So what better place to start than with the artigiani in their botteghe in the Oltrarno, our neighborhood around the corner from the British Institute's library, and what they're doing to bring forward their very ancient traditional skills very much into the 21st century. So those are my words of introduction, and I'll pass the word now to our friends at Creative People.
Thank you so much, Simon. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. Again, thanks to the British Institute, Advancing Women Artists, and Il Palmerino for inviting us to be a part of this fantastic series, Oltrarno Gaze, and also into these events thinking about the future of Florence. So as people continue to join us, I'll just give a little bit of an introduction to who we are and to what we're going to be doing today. My name is Anna Rose, and I'm here with Sarah Amrine. And we are thrilled to be your guides on this virtual studio tour. This is a new kind of event for us, and we're really excited to be able to take you behind the scenes in this way into some really fantastic spots in the Oltrarno. So Sarah and I are both working artists. I'm a visual artist, and Sarah is a jewelry designer. And we are also the co-founders of the cultural association Creative People in Florence, as Simon mentioned. And for about the past 10 years, we have had 2 main goals in Creative People in Florence. First, and this is really where it all began, is to create opportunities for local artists, artisans, designers, photographers, writers, performers, musicians, really creatives of all kinds, creating opportunities for people to meet each other, share their skills, exchange ideas, and really to collaborate, to build their creative portfolios together and work on professional and also personal projects. The second goal that we have is then to share all of that work by these incredibly talented people with a wider audience. That being here in Florence, but also far beyond that, and think about an image of a creative, contemporary Florence. This is our favorite hashtag. We put it everywhere, contemporary Florence, which to us is a city that, of course, draws from its immensely important past, but it's a city that looks forward. A city looking forward to a dynamic future that's driven by its creative industry, as the city has been for so much of its history. So in less turbulent times, let's say, we host a variety of in-person events that maybe, actually, I know many of you have attended, like networking meetups, aperitivi, exhibitions, pop-up shops, and in-person studio visits, as well as facilitating projects between creatives and local and international businesses. And of course, as you can imagine, many of these activities are on hold at the moment, but not all of them. And we've been keeping ourselves busy with a couple of pretty big projects. One of them that I want to tell you about before we jump in, which is our mobile app, We are so excited about this. This is an app for smartphones that allows users to connect to a curated selection of artists, designers, and artisans here in the city. For users who are here in Florence, you can use the app to navigate the city, to find your way from workshop to atelier to bottega, 3 of which are the designers and artisans that we're meeting tonight. And for people who are using the app not here in Florence, it offers you a way to get to know the creative community, browse the profiles of these artisans and designers. And if you are inspired, you can also do a little bit of online shopping. So the app is available for free to download in the App Store and on Google Play. So we'll throw a link to that into the chat at the end, but please download it and have fun with it and start to explore. But for the fun part, let's get to that. So over the next hour or so, we are going to be taking a virtual step inside 3 workshops in the Oltrarno. The Oltrarno, as many of you know, is the south side of the Arno River, which historically and currently houses many of the small independent workshops and artisan studios in Florence. So the designers that we meet tonight will tell us about their spaces, what their work is, what they're doing in these spaces, and answer some questions about their relationship to Florence, what it means to be an artisan in Florence today, and what that will mean looking towards the future. And after that, at the end, we'll open it up to all of you for your questions and curiosities. So as we're going along, if a question pops into your mind, go ahead and throw it into the chat and we'll get to it at the end. Or of course, also feel free to jump in at any point at the end during that conversation. So I think we're ready to get started. Grab yourselves a cup of tea, a glass of wine, depending on where you are in the world, and let's have some fun. So I'm going to pass it over to Sarah.
All right. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm going to thank you again for hanging out with us today. We're going to start off with Campuccio. And for those of you that are here or have been to Florence, explored Florence, you know that Via del Campuccio is very quintessential artisans' quarters of Florence. And they have very fittingly named their space after the street. So we're going to go ahead and start with them. We have Marla Desi, Olivero Draghi, and we have Gigetta. And they're gonna take us into their studio and show us a little bit about, show us who they are, what they do, and we'll take it from there. So over to you guys. Olivero.
Hello.
Hi.
Ciao.
All right, you're on.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we are here outside our workshop in Via del Campuccio, and I'm very happy actually to be here in my working dress. So this is the way I actually welcome people inside our space, and this is the way I'm going to welcome you. So we are going to see our gallery first of all. We have first a gallery to see, and then our workshop laboratories, actually 3 laboratories. We can start from outside. So when hopefully soon the red zone will be over, you can come and visit our gallery and also our workshop. So let's go inside. Here we are in the gallery. So let me spend a couple of words about Campuccio. Campuccio actually is an association, artistic association, cultural, and was founded in 2012. I'm one of the co-founder, Marla Desi, the lady who's holding now the camera, is the other co-founder of Campuccio. And Campuccio was founded then, so in the 2012, for I think 2 main reasons. One was that these people we actually were before had need to have a space where to create their artistic creations. And so we were looking for an actual workshop. And then also we were looking for a space where to show together our works. And we found Campuccio. Campuccio is not huge, but it's very good for us since it has this space, has a gallery, and then has 3 different workshops inside where we can work and create our stuff together, but in a separate spaces. So this is our gallery, and I'm gonna show you some of our works stuff. I have to tell you also another thing about the Campuccio, about the beginning, and also one of our main characteristics is that we are a multidisciplinary workshop. So each of us work with a different media, and also in the gallery we show our works together, but you can see everything is different kind of media. Okay, and so this is the gallery, and you can see we can start maybe with the work of Marla. Marla Desi, it's a jewelry designer, and you can see here some of her creations. She works with different materials, with silver, brass, and also bronze. You can see different kind of work here. I want to see also this one inside. Okay. Then we can switch to this other corner where is instead the sculptures, actually my works. This collection is called Heads and are 12 different expressions inspired from my daughter, by my daughter.
We love those. Those are some of the favorites. Every time we post them in the group and on the Instagram too. Those are quite fun, and these can be customized too, right, Oliveiro?
Yes, of course. Then when we go inside our workshop, I'm gonna show you also a little bit my personal work. Now let's just yes, have a look quickly to the gallery. I want to show you also another thing, because we have here a project, a special project we take care, and is are these nice ceramic cups made inside the prison of Mario Gozzini. It's a special small prison next to the Soliciano, the bigger one, and they have a small ceramic workshop there where we work together with them, and we take their stuff here to show and to also sell. So let's go forward. We can see here the work of Gigietta. Okay, these are handmade paper that she created with recycled paper, and also some flower that she takes from her creations. So I was saying one thing I forgot, sorry, is that the gallery is made with different works, you can see, and actually there are the 2 designers I was saying before, me and Marla, Gigi, and also other people that they don't have the workshop inside here, they have the workshop in another space, but they are collaborating with us in the gallery. So we keep their work here in the exposition, and you can see the illustration of Simone Spellucci, Spesimo. These are digital prints of his illustration. He's an Italian guy, and he lives and works in Spain. We have a collaboration with him since 2 years almost. And then we can see on the other corner here the work of two very young artists, and their name is Tiki Taka. These are sculpture in motion. You can see the movement of these sculptures, like the boat.
Oh, they're so fun.
And you can see also the eyes, a little scary, but it's nice. Please, Anne, tell me if I'm going too slow. Because, okay, if I have to go faster, tell me.
You know, one of the things that I think we'd be all curious to know a little bit more about is maybe while you're going through, you could tell us a little bit about why you decided to open a shared space, a shared gallery, and how that's changed the face of, let's say, traditional workshops in the Oltrarno, because that's a pretty new concept and idea, this idea of collaboration, right?
Right, you're right, Sarah, exactly, yes. Since the beginning, one of our main characteristics is that, as I was saying before, we work with different medium, so it's a multidisciplinary workshop, and this is pretty unusual for Florentine workshop, since usually maybe you're going to find share more people together, but they work with the same media, let's say all jewelry designer. So instead we do work with different media. I'm a sculptor, Marla is a jewelry designer, Gigetta is working with paper, and this is one of our main characteristics that we also like to keep. So when we sometimes happen that people move, so people come inside and people goes outside, but we try to keep this kind of different subject medium to work and to show this. We are a cultural association, so we have, yes, our space where we do our personal work, but we also have this gallery where we show the work of all of us, and we take also, let's say, work from people, like I was showing, from that they have the workshop outside. We also make courses. So Marla does, and she will show you courses on jewelry design and things exactly like this. Yes. Pardon me, it's okay?
Great.
Yeah.
And do you notice, I mean, are there any particular challenges of creating, let's say, contemporary work in such a traditional space? Because your bottega itself is really quite traditional. I mean, aesthetically, it's been there for quite a long time. And what was it before?
Well, this is a very interesting question, because we have some information about this. We don't know all, but we know this. We know that in the 50s, actually, it was a restaurant.
Okay.
Okay, trattoria, actually. The right name would be a trattoria. But then, in the last 10, 15 years, it has been the studio of sculpture. Okay. Just right before us. He's a sculptor from Argentina, actually, and he was working here inside. And then before him, they were, I think, a workshop of wood, okay, falegnameria.
Okay, so it's gone through some.
And also of restoration.
Okay.
Okay, these are the information we have of what was it. This space before, yes, before we took.
So do you want to take us back into the back room there where Marla's area, or you have more stuff to show us in there?
Yeah, no, I just was turning also the phone towards me because to hear better.
Okay.
Tell me.
Oh yes, these are Giovanni's works.
This is Giovanni's work, exactly. It's ceramic, stoneware, actually.
Lovely.
So this is all our gallery. It's not huge, but it's a very nice space where we like to integrate these different medium together.
Yeah.
This is what we really like to have together. Then, if we continue our tour,
yep, great.
we can go inside our laboratories. So exactly the space where we create. I was saying before that we are a co-working space because we are working in the same space, of course, but we also have our private spaces, since these laboratories are divided in 3 different rooms. And the first we are going to see, it's the workshop, the lab of Marla. Marla Desi, she has been studying with me at the Accademia di Belle Arti, sculpture, but she's a jewelry designer. And now we switch. I hold the camera and Marla, she's gonna show herself to
Hi,
you.
everyone.
Ciao, Marla.
Hi, Marla.
Hi. Welcome to Campuccio. I am happy you are here. And this is my space when I create my collection. I have 3 different positions of the station of work when I can make, sometimes in one bench, I make one typology of work. For example, here I made a engraving because I am a jewelry designer, but also engraver. This is my tools, my favorite tools, because it's a very ancient, but we use also today for made the ancient technique of engrave.
Okay.
And use for made a.
So these are all traditional tools.
Yes, it's the traditional tools. We use always this, but the different is the application of your design. For example, I'm working traditional, I don't know if you see.
Mhm.
This is a traditional Florentine ornament. Is the same of this. This is a traditional design, and I use also this technique for made something to contemporary. For example, I made, this is my collection, is a feather.
Mm-hmm.
If you see very well, because it's very feather. Yeah, you see, yeah. And I use this technique also for make a print.
Okay.
This is the syndrome and used for made the first thing I made in plate, and I'm used for a print.
Oh wow. Okay. So you apply the ink to the top of the metal, and you
in the metal, yeah, I'm used in the metal. The metal is the brass.
Okay. All right.
It's brass.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's nice also, and this is I'm used for make a print, but also I'm used for make it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Okay.
Also the object. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
can we get you guys to, so we do have to, we're just going to keep an eye on our time here a little bit. Can we get you guys to go back into the back room where Olivero works and then where Gigetto works?
Yeah, of course. We're going, okay, we move, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Give us a quick tour so we can get to see everything, and then we can come back with questions.
Gigi, is the last room. You can see the corridor, and Gigi, it's here, and it's our, she's with us since November.
Oh, look at all those flowers.
Springtime.
Welcome to my space. I am Gigi, the hands behind Digita's Floral Treasures. I will tell you, Gigetta's start because I am practicing by myself floral design. So when I start, I figured out that I was creating a lot of waste, about like green flowers waste. So for me, it was very important to make everything more sustainable. So I decided to research a little, and then I discovered how to make handmade paper with dry flowers.
Wonderful.
So exciting. Love it.
Yes. So, well, I will introduce you a little my paper. So, for example, you can see here all the textures with dry flowers.
Wow.
So,
and there's seeds in there too, right, Gigetta?
Excuse me?
There are seeds, like you can plant that paper and they'll grow flowers. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I love that.
Yes. I also take care a lot, like my paper being like natural.
Okay.
For example, this one, I make it with clay.
Oh.
This is terracotta clay to colorize the paper.
Okay.
So that is a thing very important for me, like maintain this all natural mood for Gigetta, okay? For example, here are the dry flowers I use. I also like transform, for example, a small arrangement like this.
Yeah.
And the next week is paper. Okay.
Wow.
For me also, I am very proud because all my molds and decals are handmade by artisan, Florentine artisans.
Oh, amazing.
Yes. I think that is a big approach that Oltrarno give to me.
It's also interesting because paper making is such a big part of the history of Florence, and it's one of the traditions that's been around for a long time, but you're doing it in a very different way, in a very new way, you know, because we're used to seeing the marbled paper and we're used to seeing, you know, the hand painted, but this is a very new take on that. So
yes, I get surprised. I get very surprised because it comes to me like I was not so prepared to discover all this, and I just take the opportunity. I learn and I start to figure out how to make it different.
Right.
To give like a different approach.
Right. No, it's wonderful.
Yes. And something very, like for me, is very important apart the tools and how I make the paper is like all the paper is recycled. I have supporters.
Wonderful. Okay.
So yes, all the production maintain their cycle because people recycle the papers and give it to me.
Oh, great. Well, so if anyone wants to, has any paper left over, you know where to bring it.
Okay, great. That I will love it.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So well, people, thank you to visit me.
Yeah. As soon as possible. Now, Olivia, show us your space. Show us where you're creating your sculptures.
No, yes, it's great to be here in Campuccio because all the time is a retroalimentation. So yes, now I think that we go with Oliviero.
Yes. Okay, great.
Bye.
Thank you, Tita.
Okay, let's go to the last room, my space. And as I was saying, I'm a sculptor and I mainly work with clay. So I can show you a little bit the materials I use. You can see here, this is a work actually I'm working on. I have to add the hands and everything, but I want to show you just the surface of the clay I'm using. I use this light clay, since also after I like to paint my sculptures. So when they are finished, they're gonna be dried lighter than this, but it's good for me to see already quite light the material. So this is why I use this and not the normal gray. I use my hands, of course, and different kind of tools to get to the details that I need. Once the sculpture is finished, I have to let it dry and make a mold in case I wanna make replicas. This is a small mold in silicone and plaster. This is a mold actually of one of my heads, the imbronciata one. Imbronciata, it's like cross. And you can see the imbronciata is this.
Okay.
Okay, this is with the color, particular color. Yeah, because that's why I like now to use this color, since one of my, I have a girl, I actually have a student that helped me of making the heads, and she had also all this kind of blue color in her hair, so she likes to paint this way also, and I like to mix also with this. Okay, so I can make a mold, or either I can hollow the clay, so remove the clay from inside,
Okay.
and fire. So this is a head, one of the head collection, but this is on commission, so it's a portrait on commission that people ask me to make it. And this is actually fired clay, but you can see the color, it's ceramic. This is otherwise the color of the terracotta, traditional terracotta, is more reddish like this.
I love that you have animal portraits as well.
Of course, I made the portrait of the animal that I had in my life, so dogs and cat, and also I made sometimes portrait of dogs that people ask me to do it. You can see maybe a small one here. Oh, this one. Can you see?
Oh yes, it's wonderful.
It's very
Wonderful.
tiny, but it's bassotto. How you call it in English? Bassotto. Vabbè,
Yeah, a
okay.
basset hound.
Exactly.
Or we have another nickname for them too, but now I can't remember what. A wiener dog, we call them in English.
So you can see these materials are the main I use. I use also sometimes bronze.
Okay.
This is bronze. I use it for, this is one of the heads. You can see how different they looks. The bronze one and the painted one together.
Yes.
Yeah, the bronze is, this is the classic material used in sculpture, of course. And I do, so I have, you see in my room, lots of heads, mainly, many heads. You can see some of other works that I'm working on.
Wonderful.
Like some high relief. This is a high relief. So same material, painted. This is a start of the paint in watercolor.
Okay.
Watercolor.
Wonderful.
Yes, this actually was wondering where is my you can see my projects around, but I also have some copies, smaller copies of masters, because of course living in Florence, seeing the arts of the artists, especially I like the sculpture from the 15th century. So this is Desiderio da Settignano.
Bellissimo.
It's one of my favorite sculpture. Actually, the original, I believe it's in the States of this sculpture, yes. So Desiderio da Settignano is one of my favorite, and I also love Della Robbia.
Yes.
Della Robbia, if you like to go and see Bargello, where it's one of the most beautiful museum in Florence for sculpture, and also you can see all the Della Robbia in the last floor, and they made a very beautiful lady inside the circle, and I get inspired from that for making this kind of new portrait I'm doing. These are also portrait on commission, and the inspiration is from that sculpture. This now it's hollow, so it's clay hollow, then gonna be fire, once it's gonna be fired, I'm gonna paint this with watercolor.
Well, we can't wait to see when that's done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, you guys. So we can tell everybody, we're going to add your links into the comment section below so everybody can find Campuccio. And if you're in Florence, as soon as it's possible, make sure you head over, visit them, and you can see all of this in person. You can find them in the app. So if you download it, it'll give you directions on how to find them. But make sure, you head on over and follow them on their Facebook page too, and on their Instagram. So thank you guys. We're gonna
thank you very much. Sorry for my English because today was a mess.
No, it was fantastic. Very clear.
Okay. You at least you see everything.
Okay?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. All right. So now we're going to go over to Officina Nora.
Yeah. Okay. So the second stop on our studio tour is at Officina Nora, and there is Margherita, who's the founder of Officina Nora. And it's so funny to be doing this in a virtual setup because we really could just take about a 2-minute walk down the street between Campuccio and Officina Nora. Officina Nora is just about 1 street away from Piazza Santo Spirito, which many of you probably know. So we're really excited to be able to talk to Margherita today about this space, how it was founded and what the mission behind it is and how it all works. So thanks for being here, Margherita, and tell us a little bit about Officina Nora.
Okay, so hi everybody. I'm very happy to meet you even virtually. And welcome to my space. So this is actually a monothematic workshop. So we are all jewelry makers, and it's a co-working again. So it's a shared space in which we have the working area and the boutique area, like the gallery. We host an international group of people, and people are coming from all over the world. We have people from Japan, from the States, from France, from South Africa, Colombia, Slovenia, many countries. And each of us has here their own working bench. So I'm going to show you a little bit how the space is, and then we can come back and see what we make. Okay?
All right.
Great.
So it's actually a 1-room space in which everybody just works together. Here we have one portion where you can see working benches and 2 of our French guys that are actually working right now. And tools that we actually, many of them actually we found here when I got the place. I will tell you a little bit about the story of the place right after. And here is another working area. So here we have Arata, which is a Japanese working right now, and some other working stations. So as you see, each of us has their own jewelry bench. They come with fire and the shaft and all the tools. And you see that each of us has their own small environment. So we keep our things next so we can be inspired and work on what we're making. That is actually my station. I'm gonna show you just a little bit of it. Here, I'm working with crochet and pure silver wire, which is a very classical technique that usually is not applied to metal. But in this case, since the pure silver is very soft, I'm able to just crochet with a small hook. And so this is my world, let's say. I'm making strange stuff. I'm making more classical jewelry, like chokers. So we try to present to the public some works which are more artistic, more like our fashion, and something which is actually very wearable and people can buy and enjoy in an everyday life. Other big tools, as you see, we have a mix of tools. Some of them are really old. I started collecting them when I didn't have the workshop yet, but I have it in my mind. So I thought I would need them, and I started buying them from people that were closing their activities, thinking about one day I'm gonna use them. One day I'm gonna have a space to use them. And it actually happened after few years.
Margherita, one thing that I remember you telling me when Officina Nora first opened about these tools was that it was really important to you that you worked in with a lot of respect towards traditional techniques, so that there's very little waste and that everything, as much as possible, is created there. So when you're creating metal wire, you make it there, or you have the possibility to make it there and to collect little scraps. Yeah,
exactly. This is something that for me is kind of normal, because I've been studying here and all my experience comes from masters that are from Florence, but I realized that it's actually not so common, especially in the States. And we try to be able to do everything by hand, which is something very important, because often you can't afford to buy everything, no? So you need to use your imagination and use your hands and your tools to just make what you need. So we also make tools ourselves. Very, very often we just grab a piece of iron and we hammer it and fire it and make it into a tool. And that's actually when we're also teaching here with metalsmiths in Florence, and people from the States are coming. And this is always very funny, because we see that people are coming with all the craziest tools to do one specific things. and for us, it's really not common. So we just use what we have and make it work, or just file it a little bit to make it work. So yeah,
you mentioned
called drawing, wire drawing machine, which is actually, I don't know if you can call it a machine, but it's just a place where you can just make any kind of wire thinner. So we would melt the metal, make it into a little ingot, something like a pinky finger, and then slowly, one by one, we make it pass through these holes and make it into the right gauge. So we have different plates with different holes, different sizes, and we just put it here, pass it through, grab it with the pliers, and just pull it, like we're saying. This wheel.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
really
I've seen you guys do that before, and it's pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah.
What?
I've seen you guys do that before, and it's pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's something that people that visit us when they can, they always get really curious about these tools, and they are really amazed by how you can actually make everything with your hands and with few tools. Here you have a few other ones. This is a rolling mill, for example, very old, this as well. And here we have a bunch of other stuff. And as you see, for example, we have these big tables with tools that are shared, and many of them were actually found here. The table as well, these big vise, these other big thing, because this was actually a workshop. It has been a workshop for the last probably 60 years or so, and it was a high precision mechanics workshop. They used to make joints for tubes, for trains and stuff like that. So when I got the place, I was so happy as a child on Christmas Day, because I could just open these drawers and find tools. And it has been one of the happiest days ever.
I bet. So I think we're all curious to see what's happening over in the gallery space.
Yes, I will show you a little bit of what we make. So we have this shared area in which we can present each people's work. I'm gonna show you a few things. We work mainly in gold and silver, mainly in silver for price reason, of course. And we also work on commission. So often people that have like old jewelry, for example, and want to renovate it, want to be able to wear it again, because maybe they're out of style or they don't fit, they can come to us and we make something new with it. In the same idea of reusing material, not wasting it and not keeping by things that have a short lifetime.
Fantastic.
So here, for example, I can show you some of Arata's work. Don't know if you can see it very well.
Yeah, perfectly.
This is all silver and a very special technique that he made up. He invented it and he calls it pulverization. So he basically covers these silver hollow constructed shapes with silver dust, and then he oxidizes it to make different colors. So you have, for example, the white and the black. Sometimes he works also with gray, and he applies, in this case, gold leaf to make it precious. And in other cases, he works with pure gold that's been pulled to make a very, very thin wire, and these like little balls as a decoration, very precious decoration.
It's incredible to think that walking down Via dei Preti behind the doors at Officina Nora, there's a technique that is being made only right there, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's incredible.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
We are all very curious, so we try to find ourselves, to find new styles, new techniques, new way of works, relating on traditions, but trying to innovate it. So we experiment a lot. I'm going to show you another thing which is also very fun and reflects this idea. So this is a ring made by a Slovenian, I don't know if you can see it with the light, a Slovenian artist, which is called Martina Lončar, and she invented this special casting, special setting for the stone, in which the stone is actually tied together with a wire and then casted it. So you use the lost wax technique, but without any wax. So she just casts the thread as it is with the stone inside. And this is very funny and nice. She can make really beautiful pieces with this. And they look like classical jewelry, but they definitely have a twist.
Absolutely. That's really so fun. It's, you know, like tying something around your finger, but it's completely, in the end, it turns out to be a piece of jewelry. It's wonderful.
Exactly.
You're wearing one of the necklaces right now.
What?
Yeah. We have also Margarita, for example, here. She is Greek. She's come from Greece, and she's making this like very sweet little silver pebbles. And she made also like pieces that you can wear as a earring like that, or you can take apart the bottom part and just wear it as a smaller one.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. So we always try to have pieces that are a bit unexpected, things that you cannot buy anywhere, and they have a special signature, let's say.
So
Here,
Margarita, before,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, please keep showing us the work, but I just want to ask, I mean, wow, these are beautiful. You mentioned at the beginning that you're an international group of designers, and I know that from day one, it was important to you to be welcoming jewelry designers from other parts of the world. How does that really contribute to the work that you're doing? I mean, I know it's so important to your mission.
Yeah, it's super important. I kept this idea from the school that I did. So I studied in an international school. I had the possibility to still be in Florence, which is my town, but allow myself to meet people with so many different backgrounds and ideas and point of view. And I think that this is really important for an artist and for an artisan, because we tend, when we are alone, working alone, we tend to just keep doing what you're doing. And being with such different people challenge you to just try to get out of your comfort zone and try something different. You get a feedback, you get an idea, you have a, I don't know, another suggestion, and you just make something new.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I mean, yeah, it's so important. And I think everyone here who is an artisan or a practicing artist can relate to that. So we're gonna move on, but I want you to stay here with us. Don't try to run away, Margherita, because I'm sure there are going to be lots of questions for you about the space. But for now, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. And again, we'll put all of Margherita's contact details in the
chat
box, and then on Facebook Live, we'll put it in the comments so you can contact her and find them. So now
thank you.
Ciao, Marge. We're gonna head over to Stephanie. And Stephanie,
hi. There you are.
So
hi everybody.
Is a leather artisan and is from Germany and decided to come to Florence to study leather and set up her bottega here. So just tell us everything, Stephanie. Tell us more about that decision, why Florence, and what it's been like for you setting up your bottega here.
Okay, so the choice to come to Florence was actually for the language. So I looked for a place to go where leatherwork was really an established tradition, and I was torn between France and Italy, but I already spoke French, so I wanted to go to Italy because I didn't speak Italian yet. So I thought, okay, let's learn Italian at the same time. And I did my training in Berlin, and after that I finished the training. I did an internship here in a Florentine family-run business, and after the internship was over, they offered me a job, and I accepted that and found an apartment and just settled down here. And yeah, that's basically the story from wanting to stay here for 3 months. Now it's been over 4 years that I'm here.
Oh, it's a familiar story, Stephanie.
Yeah,
exactly, we know it well. So show us around your bottega, your shop.
Yeah, so I'm like you just saw, so these beautiful spaces, like really co-working spaces with lots of room and space, and here it's a completely different. So I will also go outside and start there. So
and oh, just to mention, we're back on just around the corner, sort of halfway between Campuccio and Officina Nora in Via della Chiesa.
Yes. Very
so this is
road.
This is the front.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
And this is the vitrina, the window, the shop window, and here we are. So that's my bottega. It's very small. This here in the front is the store space with some of my articles in exposition.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the work area. The table, the sewing machine.
Oops,
Sarah,
show us your loft so we can see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, rolled
of course.
Up. I love that view.
So the material is all up here.
Look at that.
And it's a suspended ceiling. And actually, I'm in the beginning. I didn't have a lot of leather, so I didn't have to worry about how to fit it up there. But now I have so much material, so much leather that I had to come up with a solution. And I got these huge cardboard tubes where I store the leather in, so they don't get crushed by their weight, because it's a heavy material.
Sure.
And here's the wall with all the metal accessories that I use.
Oh, I love that. That is amazing. Look at that organization.
Yeah, it's actually an Italian manufactured system, and I haven't found it anywhere else. So I'm really happy that they're here and very fast in shipping. And since it's such a small space, I really had to find perfectly fitting solutions. So
yeah,
it fits perfectly.
Fantastic, wonderful.
And here is the sewing machine. It's an old Pfaff machine, and here's another little bit of material, the yarn that I'm using, and some of the tools. I try to keep them all as accessible as possible, but yeah, since it's small, like the ways are always short, the distances. And I have here some tools, some of the keychains I'm in the process of making.
Yes, we love these, the Duomo and the mocha pot. These
are
exactly so fun.
Yeah. And yeah, that's basically it. So it's I measured it the other day. It's I think 7.5 square meters.
Amazing.
Plus 2 square meters for the suspended ceiling, where I can like cram in everything, all the material, all the mess. Yeah. So
tell us a little bit more about what would you say are some of the influences that you've brought with you from Germany, and you've mixed them in with the influences or the techniques that you've that you've learned there in Florence. How do those two worlds and cultures kind of associate for you?
Yeah, so I have to admit that I'm still pretty influenced from Berlin, where I come from. And in Berlin, I worked in the city of the center, in a place where we repaired and restored a lot of bags and other leather goods. And it was kind of, a really gentrified area where all these hipster people were walking around. And, they all had these really clean, minimal leather bags, and I really love that. I like it when it's really reduced, but on the other hand, I can't stay away from colors. I could make rainbow bags and sparkly bags and Barbie bags.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of torn in between. So sometimes I make something really sober and minimalist, and then the next day I will make like something silver, gold, pink, green, yellow, everything together. So I just try to get it out of my system and try to see if I can make it work into a nice product.
Well, you've done an excellent job of doing that. And one of the things that just impresses me so much is the quality and the precision of your work. I mean, there is never a stitch out of place in your bags. I mean, watching you and I mean, just looking at all of the details has always been one of the things that has just astounded me every time. And not that I wouldn't expect that, but it's just one of those things that that stands out quite a bit in your work, and one of the things that you can see right away. So yeah, I mean, I know that this idea of made in Italy and quality it's synonymous with this brand or this idea, and you've absolutely blown that one out of the water for sure. So
and it also has a motivation behind it, because since I worked in a store where we repaired like any type of leather goods, like old suitcases, bags, shoes, jackets. Like I became kind of an expert in repairing tears in leather jackets. So if anyone has a torn leather jacket, I can fix it for you.
Oh, that's good to know. We have somebody asking if we can see a close-up of one of your bags.
Oh, sure, of course. Yeah, sure. So let me show you one of my favorite models.
Okay.
The bucket bag, like the form.
Okay.
This is the small size, and they have I try to make them all a little different. Like I don't really like to make the same product twice, which is kind of inconvenient for speedy production, but yeah.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you have the basic concept of it is the same.
Yeah.
You're changing details on it each time, right? Yeah.
So they all have different linings or some hand stitched details or some I don't think it's visible.
Yeah, we can see.
There's like a brown cotton linen lining, for example, has the hand stitched handles, and let me see.
And Stephanie, if I'm not wrong, you also do custom pieces as well. Yes. So you can personalize, and people can choose colors or sort of adjust your designs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So every design that I have here can be personalized in whatever leather I have available or what I can get my hands on. Like I also go and look for the perfect leather for the particular client. And I also develop models if that was something that someone wanted to do. If he or she has an idea in mind, then we can develop it together, or also do prototyping. And like if anyone has an idea and wants to talk about it, I'm there for it. I love it.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's wonderful to know. And then one of the, a question that I guess a lot of people have, or that I think us as creative people in Florence as well, one of the ideas has always been to push this idea of the contemporary and the new and really show what's happening in Florence. So if someone were to ask you, or say to you that Florence is only Renaissance and there isn't anything new, what would you say to something like that? How would you respond to that?
I would say download the Creative People in Florence app and convince yourself that that's not true.
Great answer, Stephanie. Good answer.
Perfect.
Well, I have to say that getting to know you as a community, like also the Facebook group, because I think that's how I found, like how I first interacted with all of you. I realized that there's a lot of innovation going on, which makes sense, because when there's so much traditional knowledge, it's just a matter of time that young people come, or like not only young people, but any kind of innovative mind spirit comes and makes something new out of it. And since there are also so many artists who need other artists who develop projects with them, it creates synergies. So that's the perfect base for creating new techniques, like we saw at Officina Nora, and to create really really contemporary, useful and beautiful techniques and products. And maybe it's easy to oversee these energies and synergies, because when you come to Florence only for like a day or two, then it's so overwhelming that maybe you don't have the calm to see these things. But if you take the time and go away from the main roads and like go walk through the smaller streets, then it's actually right there. It's really obvious. So just keep your eyes and your mind open, and you will see lots of innovation.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And again, everyone will put all of her contact details in the comments or on Facebook. And I also see some comments in the chat about people asking for an email with everyone's contacts, and we will absolutely do that in the next day or two. We'll get an email sent out to everybody who participated, so you can find all of the artisans very easily. But we're going to have all the artisans stay on, and we're going to open it up to some questions now. So if anyone has any specific questions that they want to gear towards the artisans, or...
Yeah, I'll just say that because I know that a few people have written that they have to jump off the meeting. I've added into the chat everyone's Instagram profile. So if you just can't wait for that email to get to you and want to do some exploring tonight, go ahead and check the chat. And I've also added links to our email address and the links to download the app for sure. But please don't be shy, jump in with your questions. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep, I'm gonna head on over to our Facebook group and see if we have any questions over there. All right, wonderful.
Thank you. We have a comment from Victoria saying, no question, but she's looking forward to meeting everyone. So yes, please use this opportunity as sort of a pre-meeting and feel free to go visit people. Looks like we have a question from Wendy.
Sorry, yes, I'll lower my hand because I forget to do that. Thank you. I was starting to write in the chat. I just wanted to say I'm verklempt. I'm just a bit emotional right now because I was gutted to miss my trip to Toscana last December. I studied ceramics. I'm in Canada. I'm a ceramic artist. And so I loved Campuccio. I'm looking forward to meeting all of these people. So I usually stay in Cataldo, and you're talking about being in neighborhoods. I just quickly looked at Sarah's Instagram, and it's like, I've shown my friends in Cataldo around Florence because they don't know all what's in the city. And so I'm feeling very melancholy, but also very motivated to see all this wonderful work that is happening and the traditions that are being maintained with a modern twist. So I just want to thank you all for this. And I'm so hopeful and looking forward to getting my vaccine and returning to Italy this December and meeting some of you. So thank you. That's all.
Oh, well, thank you, Wendy. Yeah, it's so nice to hear that. And we know that there are so many people out there who are just waiting to get over here for work or for trips that have been postponed. And so it's so nice to hear that this has been an opportunity for you to connect even while you're still so far away. So thank you.
And be sure to, get in contact with us at Creative People in Florence when you're here. And we have some other exciting projects that we're working on too for when people are able to return to Florence. And some of those include ways to, meet these artisans in person, aside from the app, which of course, everyone should download, but we also have some projects in the works as well.
Yeah. Anyone else want to jump in with a question?
Comments, questions? All right.
It's always hard to be one of the first ones, but maybe we can jump back to our artisans and I guess this is a question I would ask all of you. So Stephanie and you guys at Campuccio and over at Officina Nora. I know that sometimes for me, and I'm speaking as an artist myself, sometimes I feel intimidated walking into these workspaces, right? Thinking, oh, I don't want to bother people, or, oh gosh, they're working, I probably shouldn't come in. What would you say to someone who's maybe hesitating outside the window?
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Okay, don't be afraid, because I can, of course, I can only speak for myself, but speaking to other artisans, like if someone is passionate about their work and someone has questions about it, then it's like a waterfall. Like they probably won't stop talking about it. And I'm for myself, I'm always happy for people who are interested and who appreciate the process and who want to know more. And maybe who get their first glimpse of how much work goes into the smallest object. I mean, for bags, it's maybe more, it's more visible, but for jewelry, it's even more on such a condensed object. Like it's such a small object, but the amount of work that goes in there, it's crazy. Like, and so I think, I appreciate it, and I think others do too, but I will, maybe they can say something about that too.
And it's not just about the work that goes into that one piece that you might be looking at that artisan has made, but it's all of the trial and error that came beforehand and all of the mistakes that were made and all of the, the pieces that didn't work out in the beginning to get to that point, to be able to make something that is something that, you know, you can be proud of as an artisan, and that you want to show and talk about and tell people. Okay, I'm seeing a question here from wait. Oh yeah, go ahead, Olivero.
Can I say something just because I saw a question on the
Yes.
chat, okay?
Yes.
If I'm right, they asked me if we do take commission.
Yes.
If we make piece on commission. Is it right?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So we do, yes, in all the three fields. So let's say I make mostly portraits on commission. Gigi and Marla as well, they take commissions. Marla for making jewelries and Gigi for her yes.
Great, wonderful.
I could say yes, but I didn't.
No. And then to Jen Leo, no question, but saying hi. So I'm just going to shout out, hi, Jen Leo. She's
Jen
awesome.
is one of the artists in our app. She's makes wonderful paintings of the city and the surroundings.
Yes. And then Victoria, yes, we have a mailing list. And if you'd like us to add you to it, we have your email address, so we can go ahead and put you on. But also join our Facebook group too, because anytime we have an event or something going on, we always post it in our Facebook group too. So those are the ways that you can know what's happening. All right.
Oh, thank you for these wonderful comments over here in the chat. We also, Susan, cannot wait for you to get here. We're looking forward to meeting you. And also thank you again to Il Palmerino for inviting us. We think it's so important, even when we can't physically be together, to continue the conversation about what's happening here in Florence, and to keep thinking about the future of the city. And we think the artisans and designers who are working here are really the representation of where the city is going, right? So pulling forward those traditional techniques and turning them into something really innovative and new. So again, thank you so much to all of our designers for being here. Anyone else want to jump in with any last questions?
Questions, comments? No.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I just wanted, first of all, to congratulate Anna and Sarah for putting this together, and many thanks to the three Bottega for sharing their spaces and telling us about their work. It's been really inspiring. But I think something I also wanted to comment on is this, that this evening's event has come about through a collaboration among a number of different actors. It probably started with Linda Advancing Women Artists, with her partnership with Via del Campuccio, and this concept of the Oltrarno gaze, and then they got in touch with us, and we got in touch with the creative people, and so the network started to come together. And I think it's a good example of the way we must be working in Florence going forward from the moment we're in now, because right now we are still in lockdown. And we're all yearning for the moment when it starts to open up again and we can start welcoming our visitors, many of whom are on this Zoom, back into Florence. But it's also the time to reset how it's done. And I've been working quite a lot with the Comune on this through the first season of Firenze Now, the future of Florence and all of that. And I'm getting some quite good traction with the Comune on some of the thinking, and they respect the international voice in the city, Florence being an intensely international city. And the Comune, along with the rest of us, actually do want Florence to restart in a slightly different model. And they've launched this program called Be Long, which is an Italian play on English language. So it's belong by being here for longer. So the idea of the temporary visitors being temporary residents and staying longer, not the Mordi Fuji mob who stay half a day and just leave litter, but people who actually commit to being in town for a period of weeks and months, starting with international students and many people on this chat who are regular visitors who do come for long periods and are wanting to get back now. And So as we reopen the city with a slightly different model, a big space which needs to be developed more confidently is the contemporary creativity, as opposed to the well-known heritage, which is what makes Florence world famous. Now, the heritage is super important and wonderful, and probably why most of us are here anyhow, to begin with. But it's not enough for a living real city as opposed to a Disneyland to continue if it's only relying on its glorious past. And so the contemporary creative space is the thing that we need to really foreground and stimulate and nurture going forward. And that, frankly, can only really be done by this kind of partnership at the moment, because it's all quite fragile and quite vulnerable. It's been nurtured and underfed for far too long. And I can see lots of nodding heads from people in the front line of this. So this is why, from our perspective, the Institute, working with all the different partners I've been naming, and in and out of the power players in the city, we're over the next several weeks and months going to be putting some effort into stimulating a stronger creative scene, contemporary creative scene in Florence. And you'll be hearing much more from us on that as the weeks go by. And this event tonight was very much the launch of that. So really thanks a lot to all the participants for making it happen.
Well, thank you, Simon, and we concur 100%. We are behind it. We're with it, and you know, whatever we can do to push that forward, we're ready.
Absolutely, yes. Again, thank you to the British Institute, to Advancing Women Artists, Il Palmerino, and of course to our artisans, and to all of you for being here. It really means a lot to us, and we hope to be able to see you again soon, either this way or even better in person. Yes. So thank you.
And I would just want to quickly say that for all of you that are using, that are on Facebook, social media, Instagram, that kind of thing, one of the ways that you can really help the artisans in Florence without spending a dime is by following their accounts, commenting on their content, and sharing their work with people who you think would love it. Because the more the word gets out there and the more that, you know, people are talking about everything that's happening here, the more chance we all have of getting back on our feet when this is all over and giving ourselves a nice fresh start. So thank you all again so much. And please feel free to get in contact with creative people in Florence. Again, Facebook group, Instagram, or you can send us an email to creativepeopleinflorence@gmail.com. So we also have a blog, creativepeopleinflorence.com. So we're super easy to find. Just type in Creative People in Florence and you'll find us. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Grazie. Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao. Grazie.
Ciao. Grazie a voi.
Aloha. Ciao, grazie from New York.
Oh, I heard an aloha out there.
Ciao from New York. Thank you.
Hi from New York. Hello.
Mangatek.
Ciao, grazie tantissimo. Un bellissimo incontro.
Grazie a lei, Federica.
Grazie.
A presto.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Hi, Krista and Monica. I see you over there. Hi, Linda. All right. Okay. Ciao, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now.
Okay.
Ciao.
Ciao.